This was strange, and I don't remember this happening. Shedeur Sanders, Colorado quarterback, if you haven't heard, had pro day workout on Friday, and they called it like there was a neat name for it that I can't remember. But it was Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, they were the focal point. Deion Sanders was involved. And we're going to talk more about the things that were said in the aftermath of it. But the first thing I noticed on Friday, Andre Sisco, now Jet safety, making a comment about what he saw on the video of Shedeur Sanders throwing. Does Shedeur need to stop patting the ball? And the actual quote, and I can't see it because
Boy better stop
my eyes
patting
can't
the ball.
focus.
We breaking on it early, right?
That's
what
it.
he said.
Yes.
Right?
So the issue is patting the football before you throw it. And that is what Shedeur was doing during this pro day workout. And it's a simple little...
Yeah.
I think we've all done it at some time or another.
Exactly.
As we're getting ready to throw the ball, we're killing time, and it's just like a nervous habit. It's just a habit. It's just a thing. It's a reflex. I don't know, but that's what he did. And we'll talk more about what it all means. Let's fully set up what happened after that. Because Giants receiver Darius Slayton got involved, Chris. And Giants receiver Darius Slayton took the no big deal side of the argument. I promise he can pat the ball and be just fine. If DBs were so good at breaking on ball pats, they'd all have 8+ picks per year.
That's amazing.
Same guys that fall for a two-man dagger concept and give up the dig on 3rd and long every season, all season long, talking about a ball pat. What a joke.
That's amazing.
That was great. So Darius Slayton, as the kids would say, claps back on Andre Sisco. And now, here's where it got interesting.
All right.
Here's where it got real interesting, because this is a guy who is in an ongoing issue over whether or not he spends too much time on social media and whether anything he says is more harmful than beneficial. That's when Micah Parsons got involved.
Yes.
Micah Parsons had some things to say. If we have the Micah response to Darius Slayton, you realize a pat on the ball can be the difference between a sack or a throwaway / incompletion. Also interception, Micah. It can also pave the way. I think that's what he's arguing, that you have extra time either to get to the quarterback or the ball comes out late, or the defensive back, as Darius Slayton was suggesting, if every defensive back was benefiting from seeing ball pats that have 8 or more interceptions.
Right.
So just 2 more and then we can move on into the meat of this.
This is good.
Darius Slayton says, Tom Brady, literally the king of getting the ball out fast, patted the ball when he threw. So actually, no, patting the ball is not the difference. So that is the hammer.
Yeah.
Hey, if the GOAT does it,
right,
and it's a good argument, Darius Slayton, check mark to Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
If the greatest quarterback of all time patted the ball, then it's okay to pat the ball. Now, here's where Micah, and maybe Micah's got a future in shouting head sports media or politics. Here's where Micah moved the goalposts. And Micah, we love you as a player, but this is not your best work because you moved the goalposts. Darius Slayton makes a good point. The GOAT patted the ball, so why is it an issue?
Yeah.
Michael Parsons says, comparing the greatest quarterback ever to Shedeur Sanders is why I'll never entertain a football conversation with you. Like, what are we doing here? You know what we're doing here, Michael? We're proving that you're wrong.
Yeah.
We're proving that if Brady can do it, everybody can do it. This isn't one of those bad habits that only Brady can get away with. It's like, well, Mahomes has no footwork, no fundamentals, no foundation. He's not, but it works. So kids,
and he pats
you don't
the
have
ball. And he pats the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
But this isn't like that. This isn't like that, because the whole argument is if you pat the ball, it's going to cause bad things.
Right.
So the GOAT pats the ball and bad things didn't happen to him. Well, never mind him. So the whole thing was amusing. It was unexpected. And ultimately, and I teased this yesterday. I don't know if you were reading PFT this weekend. Hopefully you
always
were.
do.
And I said that we'll talk about it today because we happen to have a quarterback on the show, and it's not me, although we're both left-handed, who can address, and I'll give you the floor.
Well,
quarterback expert and former NFL quarterback.
It's an overblown thing. I think that's the first thing you talk about, right? Like, I understand that. The pat, that makes me allowed to time out and now see when the guy's throwing the football, right? Not necessarily. As I said to you on a text yesterday, the pat really has nothing to do with it. It's your eyes. Your eyes are the big difference there. Now, not only Tom Brady, and as I told you on the text yesterday, a lot of the GOATs all pat the ball. I mean, John Elway is famous for doing this right here.
Oh, he's got a ball.
Over and over and over. Dan Marino is the pattiest mother effer you've ever seen, right? It has always been something with great quarterbacks throughout the test of time with quarterbacks tapping the ball. It's a way sometimes it keeps your front shoulder in. It's a rhythm pat. Oh, there's Joe Montana, another GOAT, right? It's about sometimes, hey, I was going to throw here, I was getting ready to throw, and I didn't like what I saw, so now I'm kind of tapping it just to regather my upper body, right?
Wait, hang on a second.
Yeah.
John Elway, one of the greatest throws of all time.
There's Dan Marino. There's Dan Marino patting the ball down the middle. Oh, strike. Where's that interception at? Oh, there's Brady patting the ball. Oh, there's Mahomes patting the ball. Oh, I thought they'd be on that. They'd be intercepting that. Josh Allen sometimes pats the ball 74 times on a play, right? Let alone he'll do it one time too. But again, it's not about the pat. First off, more times than not, a guy's playing man-to-man. He's not playing man-to-man covering the receiver going, let me look back. Did he pat the ball so I know I can break now? That's some BS, just fodder talk, right? Then also, let's say the guy in zone who's just sitting there, he's reading the quarterback. Okay, yeah, sure. He might see this and go, oh, here he goes. He's getting ready to throw the football. But a good quarterback like a Brady or whoever else, if he knows he's got a guy staring at him, right, he's going to kind of be here, pat, and then boom, throw it over there. He's going to manipulate him, right? The bad quarterbacks, the Chris Simms of the world, and sometimes they might have sat there and patted the ball and stared at the receiver and stared at it and then threw it. Okay, now the guy has a chance to break on the football. But the really good ones, that doesn't happen. And more times than not, with the pats on the ball, they're either a really quick throw, like we'll see with Shedeur Sanders, where it's like short over the middle, and I want to go, he's patting that ball so quickly, there's no way anybody's going to break on that at all. Or it's a down the field throw, like we just saw in that highlight montage, where it's down the field, the quarterback's going to pat it like a Dan Marino or an Elway or whatever, because he knows he's got space, and he's just doing it for a rhythm more than anything to create those opposites from the top to the bottom so he can rip through the football. So, no, I think it's an overblown talking point there by the defensive guys of the NFL right here. And that would be my first argument there, Mike.
And those are the guys who should know better. That's what's so stunning about this. You tell on yourself if you're a defensive player, a starter, and in Parsons' case, one of the great defensive players currently in the game, and you think that's some sort of a flaw in the throwing mechanics of the quarterback. Now, the point is this, and the reason that I thought maybe there's something to it is because I've been hearing for years about, the throwing motion. The longer, once you start your throwing motion and they see it, it gives them a chance to break on the ball. That's why 15 years ago, one of the big stories in advance of the draft was how Tim Tebow was working to tighten up his throwing motion, thousands of reps, tightening it up, right? Not the long looping catapult motion.
Yes.
He was, and of course, once you go out to play, you revert to years and years and years of muscle memory, and out the window goes everything you've done to shorten up your throwing motion. And the eyes, too, where are they looking? The pat is something that's happening down here, and it's happening so quickly before the ball gets thrown.
Exactly.
And it's, and the more you do it, too, this is where when you said Josh Allen pats it 4 times, I think the more you do it, the less relevant it is.
You're right.
You are patting it once before you get into your throw, it can be an issue. But as you've demonstrated, and as those highlights, I think, conclusively prove, patting the ball doesn't mean shit.
No. And a lot of the times, too, right, you drop back. I'm dropping back, right? And I'm here. Okay, and I know I'm going to throw the curl over here to my right side. The curl's open. I'm dropping back. I'm still looking down the center of the field, really. And I can kind of feel the hole open. And even now, okay, whoa, there it is, right? And you're kind of looking just because you don't want to stare it down totally to now the defenders go there. Okay, you're here. And as you know you're getting ready to throw it, it's all going to be in one swooping motion, right? So it's not going to be like a tell. In fact, it's going to happen quicker than a guy who has just an elongated motion like you just talked about with Tim Tebow, who's going to now do this and drop the ball and make it long, where Shedeur Sanders or Tom Brady, it's going to be, hey, I'm looking down the field, and I'm going to throw this curl over here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hop, boom, boom. And it's like you're not, and with a strong arm quarterback, that's ridiculous to think that movement there is going to give you a split-second break on the ball, unless the guy stares at it. And that's the big thing
But that's
altogether.
the problem. But if you're staring at it, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter
if you pat the ball or not. It's the
right.
staring that's the issue.
Exactly. The staring is the issue there. So really, that's the big thing there. Now, Michael Parsons wants to talk about maybe you can lead to getting a strip sack or something like that. Sure, maybe. Right? That's why you do hear quarterback coaches, we want 2 hands on the ball and do all that in the pocket all at the same time. Sure, in the perfect world, that's what you want. But when you're dropping back to pass and, oh, man, wait, this guy's not open. Oh, no, I got to move. And now the hands separate a little bit, and you want to get back to doing this just to get in a little rhythm. Okay, you might do some of that moving in the pocket, and as you do that, somebody hits you from behind. And in the perfect world, yeah, you'd love to be here and just go boom. Okay, sure.
But patting the ball has nothing to do with that.
But patting the ball has nothing to do with anything there. Exactly right. I mean, nothing other than one hand on the ball ends up on the ball there to where you can, then not secure it the same way. But that's the only issue.
No, hang on. You're holding the ball in one hand. If the problem is patting the ball, at least for that split second, you've got 2 hands on the ball.
You usually do,
so
right.
you in theory are better equipped to not fumble it if you get hit. I just think that, and I didn't know because I'm very sensitive to this idea, anything you do to tip that the ball is coming out undermines your effort to get the ball out quickly. But I agree with everything you're saying, number one, because I have no
Usually it's done in a normal rhythm, like, right? It's not like it's like, oh, wait. It's somebody who does this and throws it and goes, boom, okay. John Elway did this and went, boom, and threw it. There's no difference there. You're not going to be able to read that, and he's going to throw it, and it's going to happen so fast that you're not going to be able to break on that. That doesn't matter. And it is happening within the normal rhythm of the throw. It's not like I'm about to throw, and now I'm going to pat, and then now throw it again and be really demonstrative about it. No, it happens within the normal, like I'm talking about, elements of the play anyways, as if you weren't going to pat the ball.
The other side of it, too.
Yeah.
How does anybody even see that? You're in the cluster of bodies. Like, you can see the quarterback's head. You can see his eyes, unless he's one of the shorter quarterbacks. But you can typically see where he's looking, where he's possibly going to aim the ball to give you an idea where it's going to go when it comes out. And the best quarterbacks will use that to manipulate a safety or a guy that's in zone. But how do you even see on a consistent basis? Unless he's rolled out of the pocket. If he's in the pocket, it's going to be hard to see the ball pat. It's going to be hard to process, oh, he's patted the ball, I better break on this route. I mean, I think that it requires the kind of skill and ability that you're going to go make the interception with or without the ball pat if you're that good.
That's the point. That's the point, right? I mean, like we talked about in the B-roll there with all those great quarterbacks, they're all patting the ball. Okay, sure, but they also know where everybody is, too. When they do pat the ball and throw an interception, it's just because they didn't see the guy. It's not because they pat the ball and now the guy got the break on it. Let's show the B-roll again, too. Show it so people can see it at home with Dan Marino and John Elway. I mean, as I told you before the show, I put a highlight thing on Dan Marino yesterday because you got me going down a wormhole, and I went. The first 20 throws were just him patting and throwing the ball right down, the street here and into the camera with him patting the ball. But here's John Elway. Okay. Oh, he patted the ball. Oh, the guy broke on it, but he knew where he wanted to throw it, so he threw it behind the guy. Right? I mean, again, it's feel. It's moving parts. There's Dan Marino again. He sees a window. He sees a hole. He's going to throw it into it. He knows who's looking or watching or staring at him, and he's going to manipulate that person with his eyes if he has to, and if he doesn't, he's going to stare him down. He's going to pat it, and he's going to throw a piss missile 30 or 40 yards down the field. Sorry, Liverpool. So that's really – it's more, though, I think what we're saying, and you get back to it, it's the eyes. That's the biggest thing, the eyes. The eyes are where it's at. And good quarterbacks that pat the ball in the normal rhythm of a drop back pass, right? They can keep everybody honest by kind of looking center down the field, and then at the last second, kind of knowing where they're going to go, pat the ball and deliver it. And there's no way a defensive player is going to make a living breaking on that over and over again consistently. No way.
I've got 3 very important points to make, and
All
then we
right.
can move along.
Yeah.
First, I was asked over the weekend if and when PFT Live is no longer on Sky Sports, who will we apologize to?
That's a problem. You're right.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You're right.
Second, this is one of those days where, man, I wish we were talking to Dan Marino right now. We see him
Right.
every year at the Super Bowl, and I know he listens to me every Friday on Joe Rose's show. Joe Rose's former teammate who actually caught the ball that Dan threw out first pitch for the Marlins opener a week and a half ago. I wish he was watching us right now, and if he is, I'm not hard to find. We can pop him in, and he can talk about patting the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that out into the world and see if that yields fruit.
Hey,
Dan,
my
we got
dad
another
was a
hour and
patter
a
of the
half.
football, right?
I didn't even think of that. I forgot about Phil.
Phil, you can
I
go
just-
through it. Yeah, I mean,
The fact that Marino, the guy who was known for having the quickest release ever, he would have never done anything to undermine what his dad drilled into his game. His dad understood you got to get rid of the ball quickly. So from a young age, the focus wasn't just throwing it with strength, velocity, and accuracy. It was getting it out quickly. So he wouldn't have patted the ball in the formative years. He would have done nothing if it was going to keep him
Exactly.
from having that lightning strike delivery and getting the ball into a spot before the defensive back had a chance. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.